So in my research, I look at the economic forces that determine where people live and where people work, and the implications that this has for the broader economy. So this has been actually a very exciting area of research over the last 2 to 3 years with the pandemic. So we've seen a big shift in where people are spending their time during their working hours, from the office into home. And this is having implications for lots of local businesses. So think about restaurants, coffee shops, hairdressers. So we're seeing a big movement of their footfall out of city centers and into residential neighborhoods. And this could have longer term implications for things like housing markets, house prices, stuff like that. So that's my main area of research. My research is really relevant these days because we've seen this huge shift in where people are spending their time. And what we've been able to do is actually measure across different neighborhoods in the UK who's going to be working from home and what the implications that is going to have for local businesses in the area. So some areas are going to win, some areas will lose because of this, in terms of the demand for things like local services. So this has been really important for policy making, both in constructing how people think about the costs and the benefits that associated with working from home, but then also providing some useful data that policymakers can use to start formulating policy. So my main teaching is in principles of economics. So we talk a lot about the forces of supply and demand in this. And really the research that we're looking at these days is really about supply and demand. So if we think about workers spending time at home rather than in work, we see a negative demand shock in city center neighborhoods where people used to be working, and we see a positive demand shock in neighborhoods where people are living now. And so this really falls nicely into these standard models that we see in economics. So one of the things that I like to do in my teaching is start to really bring the real world into this economic theory, which is what the purpose of it is. For students, I would say, first of all, the purpose of economics is to give us tools to start thinking about the real world. So start applying those tools as soon as possible. Also, keep in mind that there are so many things about the economy and the way the economy impacts the broader world that we don't understand yet. So that's really exciting because that means there's a lot of research that can be done yet and a lot of problems that need to be solved. So keep your eye out for those things.